Hi guys, Dragoneither here doing a rant style video. Um, not entirely similar to my Noble Knight rant, but a little bit more of an opinionative note on Cosmos and how people play it, and how I think what people are playing is a little bit too linear, and that the deck has a lot more options of how to play it, and than people have been playing for a long time. Like, yeah, I think a lot of places are behind the times and haven't really advanced this deck enough to where it can be. And I think a lot of people have the mindset that the deck does one thing, just has a linear play and goes straight through it. That I think is like the worst mentality to actually have whilst playing this deck, because you're actually not going to get anywhere by doing that. Unless, of course, you do have that chance to, to go for the OTK, then you can do that. But in general, I think there are more things you can do with this deck. And especially in the mirror, there are a lot better options you can take in playing the deck. And I'm going to go through most of how to play against the mirror today with you. And one of the biggest things is this deck inherently can't flood the field, so you lack a lot of board presence. And a lot of the way that people play is they use a lot of resources, hand size, to get into their deck, to get through their deck. And there's a lot better ways to play the deck. Anyway, I'm going to get into it. Starting off with one of those simple things. You need to be playing at least two of these now. Like, Strawman is incredibly good, especially at the moment. When this card first came out, I actually said in one of my videos, this is like the Sir of the deck. Problem was the deck was really slow, so I didn't really need a Sir. Now the deck's a bit faster because of Tin Can. And this card is actually really phenomenal now. Especially when you tie it in with telekinetic power well. This is by far better than Soul Troopers in my opinion. It nets you so much more for like half the life. And I'll get into that. But first of all, I'll give you one big reason why I'd run at least two in your decks. First of all, say you start with any pilot and Dark Destroyer. For this case, we're going to say Strawman. The best thing to do when you go turn 1, normal send your pilot out, banish to Dark Destroyer. Dark Destroyer's effect to destroy itself. Special summon your Strawman from deck. Your Strawman's effect to bring out Dark Destroyer. Then you can attack with your 3k beat stick, even though you now can be targeted, doesn't mean anything. End phase that gets destroyed, and then you special summon from the deck your Tin Can and you get your searches off. A big note for Strawman is he lets you actually go through your deck and create your plays, and that's that's something that a lot of the other cards can't do. It advances your game state, and a lot of the other cards can struggle. There's some cards that I think are actually really bad, but I'll get into them in a little bit. Another big thing is when you have to banish to summon, that uses up a card in your hand for the summon and a card on the field basically, so you're not really getting anywhere by doing that. Whereas Strawman, he pays 500 life to bring one back from banished, so you're actually netting yourself something for a small cost, because having to banish your monsters to get something out from hand is a bigger cost than just paying 500 life to bring something big back like this and being able to make a play, or at least in my opinion. Alright, now here's a big call that I think a lot of you aren't going to like, and I'm going to go over some tricks to show that you don't really need Wicked Witch and this card, and I'll tell you why they're actually not that good. No, seriously, they're actually not that good. Well, maybe that's a little bit better against monarchs because you can tag down, but at least against Cosmos, not that good. So first of all, this card in Wicked Witch, they don't advance your game state. Even Dogfighter doesn't advance your game state. They literally don't get you anywhere. This gets you some life back, cool. Wicked Witch stops you from dying by paying 1,000 life, cool. Still doesn't get you anywhere. You get either of them, you're not getting any deeper into your deck, you're not thinning it out, you're not advancing anything. And worst of all, if you're actually trying to bring this out to win the trade wars, you're doing it wrong. And I'm going to show you straight away why this is wrong. Okay, Dragoneither doesn't come without reason or proof. Give me 1 second. I'll go over Cosmo Mojo later as well. I don't want to bring this up now because it's just, this is like sack and win in most cases. Alright, so how does the trade war work? Say you and your opponent both have a Dark Destroyer. First of all, I'm going to go over what happens when you attack and how you win. So when you declare an attack, an equal attack, you both banish out. You go chain link 1, you chain link 2, your opponent chooses their summon first. If your opponent chooses Forerunner, you might think, oh, I'll play a Forerunner as well, and then I'll trade into it. No, that is the worst decision ever. Because something you have to remember is you want to advance your game state, but you don't want your opponent advancing their game state. You want to deny them. It's the same idea behind the Max C challenge. As much as you want to advance your game state, you also want to advance your opponent. And this is really similar in a way, taking Max C out of the mind. Well, not taking that into account, but say you're at, you decide you want the Forerunner. That's the worst play you can make. I'll show you a much better play. So you're attacking, your opponent brings out Forerunner. You know what you can do? Bring out Strawman. Do you ever think of this? And don't attack. What are they going to do? If they have no back row? It's probably different if they have back row. Or if they have back row, you can always bring out Slip Rider and damage step and then attack into their Forerunner. Get rid of something, then go into Strawman. Cool, you've now advanced your game state. The best thing is your Strawman can bring back one of these two guys from your banished, let's say the Dark Destroyer, for 500 life points. That gets destroyed, you go into Tin Can. You now get Tin Can search in the end phase. So effectively, you've advanced your game state, and you've locked your opponent out with a card they can't do a lot with. I mean, outside of actually having Cosmo Mojo or Dark Destroying their own Forerunner, what are they going to do with it most of the time? Answer, nothing. They're not going to do anything with it. Or they can go into like a Wicked Witch, which is silly because you'd still do that as well. A little bit better because they could potentially have the Dark Destroyer in hand. But hopefully you have something in hand to out that. But yeah, I'd imagine if they put out one Dark Destroyer, they probably wouldn't have the second one in hand. But who knows. Alright, back to where we were before. So you've attacked into this, and your opponent has gone Slip Rider. What do you bring out? Well, the thing is, if you've only got one monster and no E-Tally, you're not going to want to attack into the Slip Rider. Because that would just go, cool, my Strawman, or my Tin Can, or something that my Strawman. That's the best thing to do. Because unless you have something in your hand, unless you have like an E-Tally, if you've got, this is in a case of a 1v1 board, unless you have E-Tally, and then maybe like another Dark Destroyer or something in hand, you're not getting past this. Because the thing is, there are no E-Tally targets that can beat past Strawman. He can't, Strawman can't, and Farm Girl can't. So literally the only way of getting past this, if they have no back row, is by going into a bigger ship. And that's relevant. So instead of going into your own Slip Rider, if they go that, how about you go into your Strawman? and do the same play we said before. Bring this out, that dies in the end phase, and you go into tin can. Much better option. Okay, so maybe your opponent's attacking you. They attack with Dark Destroyer, goes down. What's your best thing to do? I would go Delta Shuttle. Why would I go Delta Shuttle? That seems stupid. Gets you nowhere, doesn't it? Delta Shuttle's a bad idea. Well, actually it's a really good idea. This isn't the case, again, your opponent has one monster, and they probably have E-Tellies. Because there are no pilots that can beat over Delta Shuttle, so it's safe to sit on the field. This card will advance your game state because it sends as cost to the grave. And they would usually require to bring out a bigger ship to get rid of it. If they do so, and they ram into it, then you just go into your Strawman. Because again, like I said, there are no E-Telly targets that'll beat over Strawman. If they happen to have more cards in hand, cool. They're using up a lot more resources just to get past it. Let's look at you this way. If you've started with this, ignoring how you brought it out, and they want to crash into you, they want to do some attacks, and they've gone, okay, normal summon. So they start with 6 cards in hand. Normal summon, banish, Dark Destroyer, getting nowhere. Maybe they're smart and they'll go Dark Destroyer to Strawman, Dark Destroyer. Okay, maybe they're kind of smart. Maybe they realize they can do that. Cool. Now they attack, and you go this, and they go Subrighter. That's a best case scenario. And they attack, and you go Strawman. They need to use up another card in hand just to get past that Strawman. And if they didn't do that, because they're only running one Strawman, and they're deciding they want to keep it for later, and they just did this, banish for Dark Destroyer, attack, alright, so next they would need to remember this, you go into the Strawman, they'll need to E-Telly out a target from deck, if they want to get past this is. Maybe they E-Telly the Strawman out from deck. And then to get past this, they need to banish and do another card from hand. So effectively, just to get past this, not kill you any damage, just to get past this, they've used up 4 out of 6 cards in their hand. That's not very efficient, seeing as you've probably used up like 1 to bring this out. And there's always the potential that you already had a Strawman out, so your field was actually something like this. Or not. Oh no, yeah, you would have to keep that out now. Oh no, yeah. Your field could have been like this at the start of your turn if you had Tin Can. But yeah. In short, that's kind of what I mean. In order to win the trade wars, you shouldn't have the mindset of you need to ram into your opponent and have the biggest attacking monster. You should have the idea of denying your opponent from getting further into their resources by not killing their monsters off. Of course, Cosmo Mojo changes a few things, but that's against the point I'm trying to bring up. Alright, here's some more interesting things. So, people really question why you're on Delta Shuttle. Well, I've already given you one example, how none of the pilots can beat over it. The only pilot that can beat over this is Wicked Witch. And, oh yeah, effectively also I showed you how you can avoid needing to use Wicked Witch and advance your game state the next turn because you have the Strawman out. So, Delta Shuttle is really interesting because even though it requires you target one face at once, it can target itself if you really need. But it has some really good plays, especially like Dark Hole and stuff, where you can send like a Soul Troopers to the grave, you've got another one in hand, or you send Soul Troopers to the grave, destroy this, you know, bring out Sword Troopers, bring out the one you had from Grave. And also, this is cost. The effect to send to Grave is cost. That's actually fucking insane. That's a foolish burial's cost. That's ridiculous. Like, like the best thing is that if you use Strawman to bring this out, so you're doing the thing before, where you want to just like stall out a little bit. Strawman bring this out as cost. You can dump as cost. Sorry, no, Strawman bring this out, not as cost. Sorry, Strawman brings this out as cost from Delta Shuttle's effect. You can dump as Dark Destroyer from your deck to your grave, and chain Call the Haunted or Oasis to bring that out. It's actually fucking stupid. So there's two reasons. One, it has cost to send to the grave, so it advances your deck by thinning it out and advancing the game state. Two, it can block your opponent really, really well and stop you from taking damage during the damage step and stop your opponent from advancing the game. Three, it's a 5 dark. It works well with BLS, which is really good in the deck, like one of the best top decks. And it's a 5 machines, so you can make Volcasaurus and Nova, or Slip Rider, or even with 2 of them. Yeah, I don't really know what else I need to say about that. Okay, so here's another thing I wanted to talk about. So a lot of people have the mindset that they need Cosmo Town like really, really early, because it's gonna help them get somewhere and help them, you know, get game, etc., etc. Okay, so Cosmo Town's really good at being able to get back your banished guys to hand, so that you're not wasting through your hand size, and you can maintain that. And it's also really good at shuffling dead cards back in your deck to hopefully draw better cards. Here's the thing. Strawman does that job for you as well. It brings out one of your big guys so you can attack with it. End phase it dies and it forces you through your deck, and it forces you to upgrade your game state. I probably had that too low like half the time. I'm sorry. It forces you to advance your game state. So you've effectively thinned a card out from your deck, and you get to search, so you've thinned 4 out. And you've also used up nothing from hand if this was already out, or just 1 card. At the same time, you can also get that card advantage back from adding stuff banished from your hand. So, and the best thing is Strawman can bring out like the Delta Shuttle or Slip Rider as well, do the same job in case you want to put the Dark Destroyer in hand. So effectively, like I was saying before, with how the attacks your opponent needs to use up 4 cards and then need an E-tally to get over this. This card prevents you from just wasting and going through your hands, hand size, by netting you advantage by bringing something back that's already banished. Again, the deck is quick enough to do that now too, without too much of a flaw. So, I think people need to rely less on Cosmo Town and a little bit more on Strawman, because he's really, really fucking good. Alright. Because, again, advancing game states are really important. Like I said, this defends your life, and so does Delta Shuttle. And both of them advance your game state. Both of them let you get through cards, then your deck out, so that eventually your top decks are just stuff you need. Like, there are so many numbers of games where top deck a Curry Bandit, but I can attack with it or not, you know, tribute it off, and then all that's left is spells and traps, so I end up like feeling like Powerwells and E-tallies and all sorts of stuff. And I'm just like, sure, Powerwell, bring back like 4 monsters from the grave. So yeah, what else? Yeah, so again, relying on this pretty bad mentality, and again, it bricks really, really hard. Like, really hard. When you draw, like, say you open, like, 2 Cosmo Town, I can brick by opening 1 Cosmo Town, let alone 2 or 3. It's it's a mentality that is not effective enough anymore. The deck can do so much more, but people just don't seem to want to take their time to realize that it does that. The most previous like ARG and YCS and all that stuff, people are still running like one Strawman. You should be running at least two. And I think there was something else I was going to mention. Okay, I think I was going to go with Cosmo Mojo. So if you play Cosmo Mojo, you basically sack your opponent. Like they bring out a pilot. You have anything on the field, doesn't really fucking matter. And then you flip Cosmo Mojo when they bring their pilot out before they can use effects. And they either banish it, and you bring out the card from hand, and then that gets banished. Or they just let this get banished. And yeah, and you just sack them. I feel like Cosmo Mojo is one of those cards that people are going to be like, making those deals like, hey, do you want to side your Cosmo Mojos out? Because in the mirror match, it's actually just fucking dirty. Oh yeah, there's some neat plays with Delta Shuttle as well. So you actually like want to beat through your opponent's monster. Say they got like an Erebus on the field. You send Dark Destroyer to the grave, make it 2k, and then you attack into this with Erebus. They're both 2k, and then you can actually go and start, advancing. Alongside the Strawman, again, you got the Power Wells. Hey Jeff Jones, play this, so then people realize it's good. Because a nobody like me obviously doesn't mean enough. Not quite a nobody, but it's not like anything big. I think there was something else still. Maybe that's all I have to say for now. I'm sure I've missed something. Well, I think maybe that's it. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to get into a deck profile straight after this. And then maybe go through a couple of things with it in there. And choices. But yeah, I think people still tend to rely too heavily on stuff like Cosmo Town, and they have too many big ships in their deck, which they just don't need. You don't need the big ships, you just need Strawman. Strawman's like the best card in the deck now. It's actually insane. And people also need to get the mentality that against the mirror, you need to block your opponent from getting through their stuff. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have liked this more or less. If you thought it's interesting, don't forget to share a comment down below what you think. And yeah, Dragoneither out.